Hello, family. This is On Self Overcoming with Kabelo Mpagani, and I am your host, Kabelo Mpagani, and I'm here. I just thought I should stop by and drop some pearls of wisdom. I hope you guys will enjoy the podcast, and I hope you will engage in the comment section as to how you feel about the podcast so far. Before nka tswela pele nka rata hore ke lebohe those of you who are here for the second time or for the third time, fifth time. And for those of you who are new here, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the space of self-discovery. I hope you enjoy yourselves as we learn much more about ourselves and all things ourselves, basically. So in today's podcast, in the first segment, we're going to speak about the Friedrich Nietzsche philosophy on self-overcoming. And the second episode, we're going to speak of 2 steps to carry out when overcoming yourself. So I'd first love to outlay what I mean about his philosophy on self-overcoming, right? So it goes like, for us to overcome ourselves, we first need to establish for us to establish our self-identity, to establish who we really are, we need to overcome ourselves, right? So I really understood it because I'm that person that has always been struggling with self-identity. You know when you feel like you don't really know who you are, or rather who you stand, or what you stand for, and you just feel that everything around you has the influence, much more influence on who you are or what you should be doing with your life in terms of your life choices, more than you really have, or people have that prerogative or that authority to just do each and everything they like with your life. And where now you're just aside and just there, watching each and every person do whatever they love with your life, that is making life choices for you, drastic or rather big life choices for you. So it's always been like, okay, so who's the main character here? It's always been, who's the, like, okay, it has tend to be like, how supporting cast, you have some part-time employment, how full-time, you're just there for certain shoots and then you're leaving, right? So it has always felt like that, and in a way it was training for me, because I was wondering, hey man, when I'm it's a journey. It's not even about making life choices for yourselves or anything like that. Just feeling like you're in control. When you feel like, hey man, hey, control off. Like how you control it, how control bophelo ba hao, batho ba bang ba ba controlang kapo le wena ntse bo control, but bo influence ke the beliefs tsa batho ba bang o utlwisisa ke. So, and that avails your true self and your false self. Your false self ke eleng hore it's controlled by the societal matrices. For an example, this is just an example. And your true self is just that self that that, okay, there's never that thing. Well, I want to interpret this very well, that you can never be yourself, as in your true first self. Like, let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Go hana go tla reng jele nna ke a tseba ke Kabelo ene hle ke Kabelo fela mo. Your identity, or who you think you are, is always influenced or conditioned by the beliefs of people around you, or rather by your surroundings. There's this philosophy again that says I actually forgot the owner. It says, I am not who I think I am. I am not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Right? So what builds up to Kabelo? What builds up the character Kabelo? It's my perceptions about myself. And those perceptions are influenced by people's perceptions about me. You know what I mean? So it has always been that struggle for me, especially when you can feel that it has a very it has a greater impact in your life, and for you to accomplish certain things in your life, or for you to be content with yourself and who you really are, is when you really work on that aspect of self-identity, right? So the philosophist says, is there something like a philosophist? But he says, for you to know who you are, you first need to overcome yourself. So you can already understand that this is an inner struggle. Ke struggle se ka hare se leng hore sa lwantshana. Your false self fights with the true self, and it just causes that cohesion and disruption and feeling somehow disturbed, and not knowing who you are, and that eventually affects people outside or your surroundings per se, because the energy that I'm going to reflect, right, those people are going to be affected basically by that energy, which will cause a bit of concoction in a disaster, yada, you know what I mean? So so that's the base, that's my layman understanding of what this philosophy meant. Please do comment down below, or say something on this philosophy, or English that's if there's something that I've left out on that philosophy. Please do say something. So in the second segment of the day, we're going to talk about 2 steps to carry out when overcoming yourself, right? Because I've already told you guys that it's a process. It's something that you wake up and do daily, and grind and work towards, because self-improvement, it's a very, 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 very big thing. I ke batla ho swaswa ko re hle ke ntho e kgolo e leng hore re le batho re tshwantse re itshebe pele hore na ha o etsala 1 2 3 1 2 3 nna ke kena kae mo, o la utlwisa na ke re, because go ke hlaletsa mohlala ke re, like being able to overcome yourself ke ha o ka tseba mohlala, right? We know that people's insecurities reflect in their lives, right? So because they feel insecure, they're going to say, hey kabelo o mobe. 9 out of 10 times those people are feeling that way. That's how they feel about themselves. And when you're not even aware about that concept or that philosophy, you begin to say, to talk back on them, okay? Hey, of which is not necessary. A rich mindset will just go, okay, are you good? How do you feel about yourself? Like, just to try and unleash, or rather avail, what is it that this person feels about themselves. Because 9 out of 10 times it's because they're feeling that way of themselves. That's the reflection of themselves. Now they want to put out that pain to the people who do not even cut them. You know what I mean? So that's just the concept of overcoming, self-overcoming. So the first step we could take is just being self-aware. Self-awareness, right? Being self-aware, it's just noticing that, hey man, I lack somewhere. This happened yesterday and I should have treated it in this manner. I should have done this. You're being self-aware, right? And it's not an easy way, it's not an easy thing to do, but if you're intentional about it, it's something that you can get through, because it requires honesty and honesty. And you can be compassionate or sympathize with yourself, but to a certain extent, just by knowing that what affects me also affects that other person. If I'm feeling this way, what about that other person? You know what I mean? And just trying to be a bigger person in situations at most times. So being self-aware, for instance, I, for one, like I've said it before, right in this episode, hore, I realized hore, I get an identity. Like I struggle so much in seeking my identity, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to begin this podcast. So, since I'm aware of my personality or of my character or my limits in my character as a whole. I mean, my faults, my defaults in my character as a whole, and I was intentional to know about them. Why Kileji? Okay, maybe it's because of my past traumatic experiences that led to me being this person today. Is it because of my background? You're being self-aware, right? And the second step you should take is just self-introspection. The self-introspection part is the part where you dive deeply into why. Why is it that I'm a people pleaser? Why is it that, and within self, before looking out to your surroundings or looking for who did what, when, why, you find it within yourself to say, okay, so why is it, what did I bring to the table that has contributed to me being who I am today? And by so doing, you are evaluating yourself, you are introspecting the reasons that contributed to who you are today. So I feel like, guys, if you can take that piece of advice, it's something small, but it's something that can impact you hugely and positively and just help you progress with life. Because the essence of life is that you need to be content with yourself. It first begins with self. I just want to make that clear and evident that it begins with self. And by evident, I mean that I'm going to share with you my personal stories as the podcast continues, because I want you to have that interpretation of self, of how important you are and your contribution in today's society, or your contribution to your surroundings, it be negative or positive, because both of them combined is what makes us who we are today. And if anything, we need to embrace that and just continue with life. Just it's an essence of or rather principle of life. Just moving on and just working towards ourselves day by day, just to become better people and just to realize our full potential in our daily lives. So those are the 2 steps of self-overcoming. You can first be aware, that is self-awareness. The second one, self-introspection. Self-evaluation or introspection, I already explained that. It's just getting into those diving into those scrubs. Why is it that Kichi? Why is it that I always doubt myself? Why is it that I always have these insecurities? Why is it that I lack self-respect, or I lack respect for others? Okay, maybe it's because I had this kind of upbringing. So how do I work with, So I hope you did enjoy this podcast, guys. And please share with me the aspects or the other fundamental concepts that you might know regarding self-overcoming, because I've researched like linku ka ke researchile ka sheba because ne ke kwesa hore ha so ha ona le idea e itseng ka ntho e leng go batla ho thusa batho ka yona, Maybe you're there, like you need to go out there and just go to other platforms. If it's something that's scientific, go see the website science and just try to have that understanding or comprehension what the topic is, because I'd realized that okay, I've launched this podcast, it's about self, and this is my true meaning of what I mean about self-overcoming. But yet again, I still have to do my research on what other people think about the whole concept of self-overcoming. I didn't even know myself that it's a whole concept by itself. Like, I was so shook to say, hi, Friedrich Nietzsche, guys, like but I was very glad because I got to find information that contributes to what I have, to the idea I had initially. So please do, guys, as you research about this philosophy, feel free, or rather do not hesitate to share more information so that I can learn, because here we are here to discover ourselves and not only do so but learn about a whole lot of things, right, regarding self and other topics that are aligned with self. So like I said, overcoming is just that conquering the inner struggle of who we really are. You know what I mean? So it needs to align with, because you cannot overcome your duplicate. That would be just going around. Sorry. That would be just going around in circles. You need to overcome your purest self, your true self, in order to say, okay, now I've seen progress. Because as I said before, it's not something that is not an overnight success that you just go, oh, I'm done. Yeah, like, no, it's not something you just come up. You need to gradually, step by step, just be aware of daily. It's something that you need to do daily, that, okay, so today, this is how I'm feeling. Why am I feeling this? And how can I go around this in a more positive manner? Because one thing is that if you keep on improving yourself, there are high better chances that you're going to have better social interactions. You are going to be content with yourself. People are going to see you for who you are. You're not going to be a people pleaser. You're going to stand your ground. People will respect the decisions you make for your life and for other aspects of your life that align with who you really are. So guys, please, this is a plea. Let us overcome ourselves and just be okay with the fact that it's not a destination but a journey. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'll try by all means to improve basically to improve myself, because this is not easy, to be quite honest, this podcast thingy. And for me personally, it's exam season and I'm struggling very, very much to find time. I basically struggle with time management. Okay, this is the time to create content. This is the time to study. This is the time to myself. This is the time to the people around me, my mom, my dad. So it's a bit complex, but I'll work on it, and I'll work on some other few things. But if there's anything that you need me to work on, guys, it being audio or anything, please do say something. I would really, really appreciate that. But I guess we've come to the end of the episode. With that being said, I love and appreciate y'all. Peace. Oh, guys, please do not forget to review the podcast, especially if you've enjoyed it. Please send some reviews and comments too. And yeah, until next time, bye.